now tuned into the best. Now tuned into the best, the house of consciousness. On Black News 102, you can't front, you know you've grew. sa.neter studio, it's for them that truly know. sa.neter TV too, bringing real talk to me and you. I wonder why, yeah, I have to be so hard, Lord. Now life, better do that car, sa.neter TV, just what our people need, the house of consciousness, come get it off your chest, spreading information through the city streets, the word been traveling street to street, sa.neter TV, good with facts that be concrete. Ooh, check out the realness, see how raw it be. See whether it's debating on a DVD. Sit back, relax, and let your mind be free. So if you got that info and can take the heat, ooh, just come correct, this here ain't for the weak, yeah.
All right. Peace and blessings, everybody out there. Peace and blessings. Y'all already know what it is. First of all, it's a hot Tuesday out here in Harlem, burning up. The heat wave is crazy. Make sure y'all out there consuming enough water. Get that water inside you, man. We got Grand Sheik L in the building, who is a Moorish American. And he's coming to bring us some powerful information, facing discrimination on our own land. So this brother's going to get deep into it. Make sure y'all pay attention. And without any further ado, I bring to you Grand Sheik L. Peace, brother. Love, L. Let me unmute you. Can't hear you. There you go, Gad.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First, I rise giving praise to Allah, the Lord, governor, cherisher, sustainer, ruler of the world. I give hail, high honor to all true and divine prophets. Jesus, also referred to as Yeshua, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, as well as True Ali. I like to give honors to this platform. I like to give honors to all the Moors, all the so-called Black people. I wanted to show the correlation because the prophet did say that most of his good Moors are still in the church. So the information that I'm bringing is not to denigrate being Black, because we're, they have the song, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. I just want to show how the legal ramifications of referring to yourself as Negroes, Blacks, Coloreds, Coons, Shines, or whatever we decide to call ourselves next week. So I was wondering, I sent the brother some points. I don't know if he could bring it on the screen, like about in regards to Black history and the fact that, all of the other nations of the earth, that have a nationality, English, the Italians, the Mexicans, those are nations. So I want to show the correlation, how we have been getting taken advantage of because of our lack of knowledge, and the fact that we want to continue to refer to ourselves as terms that allude to slavery, namely Negro, Black, colored, African American, coon, shine. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people, and I see a lot of people when you come on your platform, Brother sa.neter, and they're ignorant of these facts. These full-grown people don't understand the difference between they refer to themselves as a Black or as a Crayola color, and then try to justify it and get into the legal, and then so they're basically being used as tools against their own people. COINTELPRO is working to a T because these people fail to recognize the fact that you're relegating yourselves to a status, a sub-status. So when you call the people white, you're assigning a godhood to them. White means purity, purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. And then when you refer to yourself as Black, you're calling yourself Negro, colored, and things that are negative, things that have a negative connotation, things that are not positive. We also promote Marcus Garvey. Who is the forerunner to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and he was the one that talked about up, you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will. And he did use the terminology of Black because at the time, our people, that's what they identified with. But those are some of the he was a strong leader, and he basically fulfilled the role of John the Baptist. He was the John the Baptist of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which means the message he came with came prior to the coming of the prophet. So his role was to come before the prophet, and he was the creator of the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, I believe. That's the term that's used. So we don't look down on our people. We just understand that there's a sickness in our people's minds because this man came teaching you the truth about who you are, where you come from, and you still refuse and refer to yourself as Black. And how could someone that has that's a full-grown adult, and when you're 18, you're responsible. Their ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you ignore, and you notice the root word to ignorant is ignore. So if you ignore the facts, then you're subject to everything that goes along with it. Matter of fact, the prophet had a speech he called the Divine Warning to the Nation. And he explained why we should not be associated with the 14th Amendment and how we have been placed in a sub-status. And he did this back in 1928. So he was well ahead of his time and also created a trust. This man came back in the 1920s and set up a trust. Also was, and I want to bring this point up because this is a global movement. You see what I'm saying? The family of nations. He made an announcement back in 1928 and stood up on behalf of our people at the Organization of American States within a Pan-American Conference. Mexico was there, Cuba was there. It was hosted by Cuba, by the way. All right. But Mexico, Canada, they had representatives there. Secretary Hughes was there on behalf of the United States Corporation. Brazil had representatives there. This was like half of the world that was in attendance at this conference. And this is why the prophet spoke about things when he said, without I being at the front, you won't be recognized. He wasn't being arrogant. He was just stating the facts because of the work that he did back then, back in 1928. And then when you go into what occurred after that conference and how they redoubled their efforts to try to do everything and use people against him, his own people, some of his most trusted people were used against him. You had ones with the likes of like Herbert Hoover that was working against the prophet, and then you had people like Julius Rosenwald, who was so-called Jewish, and he had a handler. His name was Claude Green. This was the same man that messed around, and I believe he was messing with the prophet's wife and everything. But he was the butler to Julius Rosenwald, who conspired against the prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Let me say something with a little pushback a little bit. Me and Lord Albert been fighting this for like damn near 10 years, brother. Black, Moors. Shout out to Lord Albert. He's in the chat right now. And you got to understand, brother, and I know you do. Everybody don't subscribe to Prophet Noble Drew Ali teachings. There's so many sets and different ways of life that's out there. Like you got Hebrews, you got people who represent Kemet, who don't subscribe to Prophet Noble Drew Ali teachings. So you can't be surprised when people don't go by Prophet Noble Drew Ali's definition. And then we got to look at who are those people who gave black a degrading term. It was our enemy. You see, it was our enemy who did that. And I think when we keep trying to fight those battles about you ain't black and you ain't this, it separates us as a people. Instead of just like when Malcolm said, when we all come together, leave all of that at the door. Let's come together on what we need, what we all can agree upon. You see, but when we begin to try to change each other's status or change each other's way, I think that's when we become separated. We become separated like that, you see. So there's a lot of people who don't subscribe to the Moorish teachings.
Well, here's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
I do understand, okay? Right. I have people in my own family that don't subscribe to the organization. They've since reconverted back to being Christians, okay? So my thing is, it's critical at this point because it's all about mastering a certain measure of mental kung fu. You know, you can't be the doctor and the patient at the same time. Okay. And this is a situation that's been generationally affecting us, you know, and this is not by coincidence. This is by design. So you have to understand and the history of the organization and the climate of the times that was going on back during the times where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was in existence during his lifetime. And then you have to bring everything up to the present. So you have to be able to look at the law for what it is, and you have to have a clear conception and understanding of what the law is. By the way, I wrote a book about it. And so, you know, I can speak on the topic as an authority. You know, I have Moorish law services. So it's not just about, as an Abraham Lincoln type of lawyer, I'm speaking as an authority, as an author, I'm speaking from an authoritative perspective to make sure that the people understand the consequences of continuing to refer to yourself as black, because the truth of the matter is not all people are going to subscribe to Moorish science. I get that. Not everybody's going to be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm not I'm practical with my approach. I understand that it's not going to resonate with everybody's soul. In fact, you have like Brother Abba. He's been a part of the organization. He has since left.
No, but he still subscribed to the teachings, though.
Okay, I get that. I understand.
He just left because of in-house fighting.
Well, that's not. But see, here's the thing: if you can't be yes and no at the same time. I have to be. I'm consistent. I've been on the same path for over 30 years, sir.
I hear you. Yeah,
so I speak as an authority on the topic, and just by understanding that it's a trust. So you have to have a certain understanding to be able to break this down. Your mental kung fu has to be on point, especially if you're talking about demonstrating with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He's a mastermind. So that means you have to master your mind, because our people, what was done in science has to be undone in science. So there's a specific way and an approach that you have to have in order to get through to our people, because there's a special sickness in our people. And you have to recognize that. Like the Mexicans have been Mexicans since time immemorial. Same thing with the Irish, same thing with the Japanese, same thing with the Chinese. Nationality is the order of the day. And if you don't get that, then guess what? You're going to be forced to get it right. And this is what's about to occur and go down with our people. They're going to be forced to have an understanding because, see, knowledge in the 45 is going to make knowledge fly. You can keep calling yourself that if you want to, but what you're doing is you're casting a spell against yourself. You calling yourself, that's witchcraft against yourself. You're speaking against yourself. You're free to have, there's religious freedom. You have the freedom of religion. That's fine if you don't subscribe to the Moorish Science Temple of America. And not everybody's going to subscribe to the Moorish Science Temple of America. We understand that. It's a special position being a god. We're named Ills and Bays for a reason. That means when I say love ill, that's God. Ill means God. Bay means Lord. So everybody's not going to be everybody. That's why the prophet, he made the call for strong. The strong. It's 3 objectives that we seek when we seek membership, because everybody's not meant to be a member. A, you have to have race pride in your race. 2, you have to be a strong man or woman. 3, you have to think or know that your condition can be better. And then you are required to join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Everybody ain't fit to be members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and let alone leaders within the organization. You got a lot of people, fake, phony Moorish American Muslims. And that's the problem. So we understand we are in no way disillusioned by the monumental task that lays before us. We understand what the assignment is, and we're being directly guided by the great God Allah. So we don't have to worry about who's going to fight our battles. You see? So, a lot of our people are, and you probably, I don't know if this affects your position and how you move, whether or not, I don't know if you subscribe to Freemasonry or not, if you are a Mason.
No.
And I'm not here to say either way, if that's bad or good. I'm not here to judge you on that basis. But
yeah, I'm not subscribed to no teachings. I'm just open for information and knowledge. And let me answer Eric Studies. He said it's not a Moorish teaching, it's the law, sir.
Right.
So
we understand the difference between Moorish and law.
Right. What I want to say, hold on. What I want to say is, no, he was talking to me, not you. He was saying to me when I said, about the black and all of this other stuff. So he's saying it's not a Moorish teaching, it's the law, sir. So what I'm trying to tell you, brother, is that the people who make the law, who designed the law today, I'm talking about, those who are in power are the most corrupt people in the world. And we understand that they changed the law at will.
No.
Hold on. Let me finish. You can correct me when I'm finished. And they changed the law to fit them. Yes, they do. Just like 1 minute, there was a time when we was able to bear arms. And they changed that when they see Huey P. Newton and all of them soldiers in Oakland run up in there. Hold on, let me finish. Have a little patience. And they ran up in there. And next thing you know, the law has been changing. And then for my brother, the true life lessons, he says, brown skin is not black.
That's correct.
In the name of our teacher, hold on, brother. I'm closing out in a minute. And in honorship of our teacher, may he rest in peace, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he didn't look at us as black as our phone. He said that we are the first reflection of the cosmic order of the universe, which is darkness, which is blackness. It's a political term because the white man came out saying white power, white power. They not white. And I don't hear nobody saying, y'all not white. But when we counter it, we say black power. And when we said black power, we all understood what it means, where it comes from. So look, I'm looking at myself. I have on black headphones. I know I'm not the color of black headphones.
Right.
You see? So I know that. But it was just a political term the way we used it. It was to combat the white power structure.
Well, see, this is the thing.
You get rigs.
I don't want to lose my thoughts on that.
Yeah, brother.
When I try to interrupt you, it's at critical points. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I'm going to let you rock. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, most people don't even understand what the law is. Okay? We are the ones that brought the law, the original laws. It was the Moors that demonstrate the law, not the European. And reason being is because you don't know your history. And if you understood your history, you would know that the first ones that were president over here were Moors. John Hanson was the first Moorish president. Peyton Randolph. These are copper-skinned people that were darker than me. Okay? So this is proof that you don't know who you are. And then you use these terms that are not, that's because the brother's correct. It's the law. It's not a Moorish thing. It's the law thing. And so you have to look at it. You can't look at it from an emotional perspective. You have to look at it for what it is. It's the law. Law governs all events. So that's the key thing right there. You can't just think that you can, like, it's like we living in a fantasy make things up as you go type of world. There has to be some kind of accountability. And the law does provide that accountability. For example, what is the law? We're talking about the Constitution, the legislative branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch. Then you have to understand the Bill of Rights and what actual law is, and then the difference between law and statutes that are made up, statutes that they make up as they go along. So if you don't know the law, then you're clueless as to in history. Then how are you going to speak on anything what relates to the identity of our people? If you're out to lunch mentally and you don't understand what law truly is, this is part of the reason why our people are presumed to know the law when you reach the age of maturity, which is majority, which is age 18. And if you haven't figured out things, and this is part of the reason why they have the public food system in place. You think that's by coincidence? Do you know who actually runs the actual school, the program, the platform? I think it was the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds. They're the ones that's responsible for the public food system that you see today. Why do you think I refer to myself as an Abraham Lincoln type of lawyer? Because these people have us trained to believe that they are the authority on things. Like when you say white people, you actually refer to these people as if they're gods. They're not. We are the white people. If you want to be correct, technically correct about the situation. And if you look up in the law dictionary, it says as much. If you go and look in the up-to-date law library, you'll see that it refers to us Moors, dark-skinned people, free white persons. And if you just go to the library, an up-to-date library, you will see that. You'll see that in scholarship. You'll see that if you know how to read. Most of our people don't even know how to read, but they want to come out here and act like they know about Moorish science or they know the law or they know anything. Because if you truly knew, you could be what you know and not what you've been told. See, our people are so trained into believing that we know something and we don't know. We got too much pride to admit when we're wrong. But it takes a person that's bigger, a person that's truly mastered their selves, and it understands that you are your own worst enemy. You can be your own worst enemy or your own best friend. That's why you have a higher self and a lower self. Just like, when you see the cartoons, you see the little angel self, and then the one that's got the horns on the head, the two selves, the higher self and the lower self. Well, that's what we are. That's what we have as a nation of people. We have to get back to understanding that science, learning to be the message that we bring, so that we can be example to all the other nations of the earth, and we can return to the prominence that was once ours. How we conquered Spain and we ruled Spain for almost 1,000 years. That type of demonstration. How we went up into Europe and cleaned those Europeans up. Why we choose not to amalgamate with the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither those that serve the gods of their religion. understanding who we truly are. That's why this is not for everybody. You see, we have to be the message that we bring. And that's all I'm saying. You know, if you have any questions at this point, because what I wanted to do is I wanted you to put up the points.
No, go ahead, Bill, brother. I can't give you the points. You got to do your work. I can't do that. You got to show your screen and all that. I told you I'm gonna let you rock. Go ahead, you can rock.
Okay. Well, all right. This is what we'll do then. We want to discuss the reasons why a person can never be Negro, Black, or colored, and why we are actually Moors. We are Moors because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Now, I understand that you got a lot of brothers out there that are Hebrew Israelites and all that, and I've watched a lot of them come on your platform, you know, and they're pretty intelligent brothers. You know, the prophet said to never speak down against another organization. So we're not to castigate or try to put other brothers down because of their religious beliefs or their religious faiths, because the Constitution swings the door open to all, and we all have religious freedom. We're supposed to have freedom of religion. You see what I'm saying? That's the law. That's part of the law that we speak it about, how we have to have an understanding of the mastery, because that's something that's written in stone. That's something that cannot change. When you talk about the First Amendment, freedom of religion, then the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. See, it was because these brothers, they had a certain status that they were not allowed to have, you know, because it's, again, the Second Amendment is a right. There's not a privilege. That's not something, those are rights are something that can be taken away or arbitrarily legislated about. And how this is what they've been doing when they go into these different caverns, you know, these different locales, like when you go into City Hall and they have legislation on the city level, then they have legislation on the county level, then they have legislation on the state level, and then they have legislation on the federal level. And when you don't understand that, then that's when you become the loser. And then you can be tricked easily. This is why I'm an Abraham Lincoln type of lawyer, because I understand that, the facts, you see? And those are things that cannot be argued. You can't argue what the law is. If you're not following it, then you can be sued. And this is why we make take the position to put lawsuits in. And we've been doing that work for, I would say, over 20 years now. Making a record, learning how to make a record, learning how to file lawsuits, so that these people, when they get out of line and when they get froggy with it, then we can put them back in their place with the law, utilizing the power and authority of the law. Because it's not, you know, they've taken oaths to uphold, support, defend the Constitution for the United States of America. And the problem is that you have a lot of these people that are esquires, and you can't be yes and no at the same time. So if you're a bar attorney, meaning that you are part of the group that refers to themselves as the British Accredited Registry, and you have to register with them, then that means that you have taken a position and you have given your allegiance to a foreign dignitary, namely the Queen of England. So an esquire is a knight. Someone has been knighted by a foreign dignitary. So this is part of the reason why we don't subscribe to having an attorney, a bar attorney, because they have basically been in denial of their obligation. Now, we had one occasion where we actually had revealed some things when we had an attorney, and he looked at the document that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali filed is document number 10105905. And he bear witness that it was filed. When he got the when he looked at the documents, sa.neter, he was besides himself. Now he's an Italian, okay? That he got to asking us really frantically, where'd you get this? Who gave this to you? He was saying it in a way that he couldn't get the words out fast enough. And this is something that me and the Sheik, we bear witness to that fact. And we both looked at each other. Like, why is this man getting so excited over a document that has really nothing to do with him? We had to really ask ourselves. And that was back in 2001. That's almost 25 years ago. So we are an authority on what we talk. We're an authority on what we talked about. Hell, I went into got my license to learn how to sell real estate as a result of being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So I learned the ins and outs of how to create quick claim deeds and stuff like that to really be up on my game and understand the power of what the prophet brought us in that documentation. So at any rate, he got to asking us questions. He was like, where'd you get this? Who gave this to you? And then he said something that's very key, sa.neter. He asked, where's the other part? There's another part to this. Now, guess what the other part is at? It's in our holy book. There was a tradition that the old people used to do, and they used to put the deeds of their land in the back of their Bibles. Well, the Prophet Ali followed that tradition, and he put the deeds of our land in the last chapter of our Circle 7 Quran, which is chapter 47, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. That's where he put it at. And so that makes us extremely wealthy. It is a trust. You just have to know how to access it. Your kung fu has to be on point before you can access that trust. And everybody's not meant to access it because everybody's not mentally strong. This ain't for the weak. This ain't for the faint of heart. This is something you know when you have to know this is your calling. When you take on this mission, then you have to understand who you are in the greater scheme of things. See? So I'm one that introduced this to my whole family, mother, father, uncle. I breathed on my whole family before the year 2000. So I started with my family first. How do you think my mother got to become my assistant? Well, she's with me on the show. She sent those down for the prophet to this day. She was the one that was sitting with me at the time when we was back there in the attorney's office. He said, where did you get this? We got it from the Circle 7 Quran. The man was so cold-blooded, he put it in the back of our holy book so that every member would have a copy of where our land is. But few people understand what it is. You got grand sheiks out there that don't know what a trust is. They don't know anything about a trust, but they've been members for 30, 40, 50 years and still don't know what the man bought you. But I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about how we can access our remedy. I'm talking about how we can relieve ourselves from mental slavery and to begin to gain a greater understanding of what this man left us and understand the prominence and the power that comes with it. The whole nation, the whole world is watching. Look at the events that's been occurring and understand that you have to take your place amongst the affairs of men, and you are the admission equation. You are part of the problem if you're not part of the solution. And the solution is with the Moorish Science Temple of America. Each and every one of us is a Moorish Science Temple of America, a temple. So you have to transform your mindset to understand the power and authority that comes with being a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, let alone a sheik or a grand sheik. Understand what our mission is. This ain't no back to Africa type of movement. We are here to reprogram the minds of our people, to take them back so they can return to the state of mind of our ancient forefathers, so they can reprogram themselves and remember and recall actually who they were. The Moors fell. That's part of the reason why we went into slavery. Slavery was real.
But the Moors also enslaved themselves as well, right?
First of all, we had to understand. Yeah, it was just, we had like you had brothers and sisters.
They enslaved Africans.
They were owners. They were owners
Yeah.
of a people. Yeah, we did participate in that. Slavery was it wasn't just about complexion. You see what I'm saying? You had a lot of our people that enslaved our own people. And that's still a problem to this day. You know, we're seeing these debates raised back, going back and forth with the FBA and all of that. And, you know, and a lot of their points are correct. I'm not here to discredit them. I'm here to get in where I fit in and work to bring solutions to problems that's been facing us for generations, for several generations. So it's all about understanding the truth about who you are and where you come from. Know thyself and Allah. Time never was when man was not. Understand the simple concept. Yes.
Talk to us about facing discrimination on our own land.
Okay. We are facing discrimination on our own land because we don't understand how the law truly works. As a collective, we have to take our place amongst the affairs of men. And so what we've been doing is we've been reaching out within certain channels within the law to hold these people accountable. So you're not just going to get to live high on the hog and you're in our land. When you're supposed to be paying us tribute, you understand, you going and you're dallying with this guy and that gal, and you know, but we understand that you have a specific role to play, and you have to play your part, and you're going to play your part. But that doesn't mean that we just sit back and we don't get none of the pie. We have to understand that we have to be in a certain position collectively before we receive what's entitled due to us, our Moorish honors. Because see, even though Prophet Noble Drew Ali is no longer in the flesh, it's the spirit of the law that he lives in. So whenever we recite our laws, then that's when we get the energy of Allah and his prophet that comes up, and then we get the holy breath, and then we breathe on each other, and this is how we spread this truth, because we have to have a certain mastery of our own selves before we get to the point where we're going to receive the respect for the nations of the earth. So just think about it like this. We're a religious body politic. So we have to deal with certain internal parts of ourselves before we get it to a point where we can work it out and we can say, okay, we got the Grand Sheik here and his assistant. And then you have all of these subordinate temples, and you have the branch temples, and then you have charters that's been issued to each and every temple. And then certain representatives that operate within that particular temple, whether it's the state of North Carolina, the state of Louisiana, the state of California. You see what I'm saying? And each state has its own grand major temple. You see what I'm saying? And then understanding the Rotarian complexion that these temples operate in. so that then we can begin to do trade and we can begin to transport goods and to do business with one another. This is how we come into our own. So we create we have to have a understanding of how industry works. And then it's because it's thought's the cause of it all. So we have to be in a situation where we can begin to recall and and use this information to wake our people up that may even be in some of those entities within those networks. So when we communicate with these people, we can communicate with them in intelligence, because it's intelligence that rules the world and ignorance bears its burden. We don't have to speak rambunctiously or be disrespectful or rude or anything like that. We have to understand that it's intelligence and law that governs all events, and it's intelligence that rules the world. So even though we might have a situation that we're going through, we don't like it. Like if you're in the court and the judge say something that's not right, then you have to exercise a certain decorum, let them say what they're going to say, and then you respond. You see? And then there's a power in the eye, it's a power in the arm, it's a certain power when you understand the mastery of the thought, when you actually have mastered this science to the point where you can control your thoughts and you put your thoughts out there. Or like, for example, if you're waiting to speak and you got to interrupt somebody to have a conversation with them. You see what I'm saying? So I notice a lot of times your guests, they have, issues with maintaining their patience. And then they have a situation where a lot of them don't control their, they can't refrain from using profanity. There's a sickness in our people when you can't control yourself to the point where you have to be vulgar and you have to be profane in your language. Because it takes intelligence to be able to respond to a person with scholarship. Now, there are some of your guests that I appreciate and I can respect that they have scholarship to the point where they don't have to use derogatory terms to explain things and then put your platform on the hit list because they're throwing all these F-bombs and all that, you see? But it takes a certain kind of mentality in order to be able to do that. You have to master your mind. Just like if you can't refer to yourself as calling yourself black. I remember I used to call myself black. I don't anymore because I reprogrammed my mind. You see, I don't cast spells against myself. So that means I will never slip up and call myself a ninja. You see? So, yeah, I see what the brothers put down there, but yeah, that's great that you provide the platform, but sometimes it seems like it can be, like it could be a free for all, and because people have a tendency to be excited and they want to get their point out, and they don't realize that they have two ears and one mouth for a reason, because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. How you gonna learn something if you always running your mouth and you think you know something? So many of the people who come to your platform are immature and don't understand the decorum and how to communicate properly. That's also a part of the sickness. They think what they need to say is more important than what they have to hear. And a wise person, it's just like the saying that goes, you're supposed to measure twice and cut once, right? So that you don't get it wrong. Can we see the deed, please? Actually, the deed is two parts, like I said.
Do you know how to share your screen, brother, where you can share your information?
Well, what I will do is I will refer the audience to where they can find the information.
Okay.
So if you and I did that on the platform before. So basically, only thing you have to do is you have to go into the Cook County Clerk's office. It's not her name now. What they've done since then, sa.neter, they've actually changed some things and they did that for a good reason too, because it was filed in accordance to the Torrance registry system. That was the system he filed it under. And there's a certain indemnification, insurance, and all that. But anyway, how you look up the information is you go to the website. It's Monica Gordon's website. It's for the Cook County government. And then you want to type in Recorder of Deeds, and that part, you'll be able to look up document 1010-5905. And then when you key that in to the computer, when you're on the website, and then you pull it up, you'll pull up a bunch of documents that's going to pop up that you can read, and you'll see that all these documents will come up. All these people that's been putting their property under trust or anything like that. But this is the kind of thing that we need to learn how to do when we're talking about dealing with real estate, because how you going to be a sheik and you don't know how to look up information like this, or you don't know that a certain place like this exists where people can file their documents. You type in a PIN number and then you can pop up all the properties. You see what I'm saying? Everything, we have experience on putting a property in a trust. We have to understand what a trust is before you can even talk about putting a deed together. You see what I'm saying? But these are the kind of things we're supposed to be understanding. Like when you can put any property in a trust, and we have the authority to put any property in trust that we choose. Only thing we need to know is how to access the public records. And this is why knowledge is power. And I would never go out there and just get people put people up on information like this, especially if they're not members. So that's the thing. There are membership has its advantages. Membership has its perks. So if you're not a member, then you're not going to be able to access that information really anyway. You ain't gonna do nothing but hurt yourself, especially if you're still referring to yourself as Negro, Black, and colored. It can't help you anyway. Again, that's the point that I'm making. We have to get out of, I don't take nothing personal, sa.neter. It ain't personal to me. It's business.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Yeah. So I'm doing what I do because I know I'm on a divine mission to first I got to save myself. Then I can help my people. Because each and every one of us we have to deal with self.
So let me ask you this. How long have you been a Moor? And not only you, but your people that surround you and brothers that surround you. Y'all have been Moors for how many years, at least?
Well, here's the thing.
No, just answer the question.
I mean, I understand. We've been Moors when we come to understanding who we are. We've been Moors for all our existence, all our lives.
No. How long have you converted?
How long? Okay, now that's a different question. You're asking how long have I been a member of the Moors?
Right, there you go.
Okay. Now those are different dates because I joined back in February of 1994.
Okay. Now here's the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Since you've been a Moor, your Grand Sheik, the people that taught you, because you come under somebody, and then the brothers around you, have the white man treated you any better than us, the ones who call themselves Black, the ones who call themselves African? Have the white man given you any more privileges greater than us, brother? Or he still treat you the same?
Okay, that's a very good question. Now, you have to also recall that we don't refer to ourselves We refer to ourselves as white people. We are the white people. So we are the gods in the land. Just keep that in mind. You're talking to God.
Right. I know it's a status. I understand. I know you're dealing with status on that.
Right, exactly. And that's where that comes into play, because it's not about complexion, son.
Right. I get that.
It's about your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
We are the white people. We are the one that runs stuff, not them. We have to get out of that. See, when you change your mind, then the things around you will begin to change.
Right. But the question is, the people that is known, when you say white people, everybody know exactly who you're talking about. And I'm talking about them people, the colored people. Because they the real colored people, you know. They turn all kinds of shades red.
They are the actual black
yellow.
people. They're the actual black people.
Now, here's the question. Have they treated you any different? Do you get any more privileges than we who say we are black? Or do they still look at us all the same? That's the question.
That's a mixed bag right there, brother, because I get preferential treatment because of my knowledge. And that's it. Because I know who I am and they know who I am. So guess what? When I engage in them, they don't want no parts of me. They're not trying to see me in the court. They're not trying to see me like that, bro. Because I'm real with it. I'm not out here faking the funk. I'm actually one that know how to go into the court system, know how to teach people to put that on the record. So I make sure I force them to know who God is. I'm God in the courtroom. And they know it. They know who God is. You see what I'm saying? It's all about your mindset. It's all about who has the strongest mental kung fu. So I don't subscribe to no master. No man is my ruler. No man is Lord over me. I'm God in this plane of existence. I know who I am. I have returned. Just only thing you have to do is just pay me. That's it. And that's what it's all about. Now it's all about making sure that they understand that they owe God tribute. So guess what? My role and job at this point is to organize my people and make sure they understand who they are. So we can stop facing so much of this disrespect, because those people know who we are. Yeah, they know. And you want to know why they know? Because we made sure they know. They know who we are because we filed documentation in the federal court system. That's how they know who we are. Why do you think they never put any videos out on us? Or there, he's checked these sovereign citizens out. No, because they know who we are. And we know who we are. And they treat us appropriately. They treat us with the respect that's due to us. Because we know. And that's the perk. That's one of the perks too. They go along with knowing who you are.
All right. So let me ask you this here now. How do you feel about the movement, the new movement that's hitting a lot of people? It's called the FBA by Brother Tariq Nasheed. How do you feel about that? Now, that's a new movement popping up on the scene, and they all call themselves foundational Black Americans. Talk to me.
All right. You know what? You just pointed out a very pertinent point. This brings me right back to square one. This is part of the reason why I wanted to share with the audience the derogatory terms of Black, Negro, Blacks, colored, you know. So when you call yourself Black, you're basically painting yourself. You're telling the world that you don't know who you are because you have no nation. What you're telling the world is that you're stateless, because that's the status. That means that you're somebody else's property. I don't care how good you think it makes you feel. I don't care if you try to science it up and say, you know, Jesse Jackson, you know, I'm Black and I'm proud. James Brown, say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud. I know the feeling and nostalgia that you feel, you know, fight the power, all that, you know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, in law, you're considered to be civilator mortus. We know what that's Latin for. Dead in the eyes of the law. See, we have to get back to that Latin. That was one of our languages. We are scholars. We are not supposed to be referring to ourselves as black, because when you do that, you degrade yourself. You're casting a spell against yourself, and you're telling everybody in the world that you don't know and you're stupid. Because if you're truly enlightened and you're a scholar, then you would know better than to refer to yourself as such. So you get no respect from anybody that's in any nation in the world. And this is why they choose to ignore you, because you refer to yourself as something that you're not. You're a black person, which means you're artificial, which means they can utilize plausible deniability when they want to snatch you up at the car and they want to disrespect you and they want to pull you over and they want to talk to you jazzy instead of being the servants that they are. Because you don't know the law and you don't know who you are, you don't know who you be, then they're going to treat you the way they feel that you should be treated. And the Prophet Noble Jolly already warned us about this. This is not something that's new knowledge. This is something that we've been knowing since he came on the scene. And you get, as a point of reference, you can refer to the divine warning to the nations. So quit playing with it. Either get with it or get out the way. Because the great God Allah is the one that's in charge. It's not me. It ain't what Brother Love will say. It's all in divine order. You can call it whatever you want to. You can call it Allah. You can call it the Great Spirit. You can call it Yahweh, like the brothers, the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. You can call them the Great Brahmin, Buddha of Enlightenment. You can call it many different names, Jehovah. But in each and every instance, it's the cause is cause and the root is root from which all things have grown. That's the Great Spirit that we are referring to. Okay, you got Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you have Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Circle 7 Quran. And then you got the Holy Kitab, the Quran. Which one do you subscribe to? And what's the best moving our people forward? Well, I subscribe to the teachings of Yeshua, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. And so that means that? I subscribe to all of the true and divine prophets.
No, you can only take one. No, that's my question.
Well, no. This is why I'm answering.
No, listen, hold up. Who do you take? Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or do you take Prophet Noble Drew Ali? And which book? Circle 7 Quran, or do you take the Holy Kitab, the Quran? And you can only take one. Which one is best for our people? See, I'm gonna put you on the spot. That's why this is the toughest environment.
Okay, that's fine. But again, you have to. If you can't just keep going because you don't like the answer. I already answered the question. I said that he's a universal prophet, so he recognized all of those prophets equally. So that would be the Torah, the Holy Bible. That would be the Holy Quran of Mecca. That would be several religious works that we don't have higher than the other, because it's all universal. Truth is universally one. There's only one truth.
I guarantee you, if I was to ask a Muslim that question, they would automatically say Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they would say the Quran all day. Now, hold on, brother. If I would ask an Israelite that same question pertaining to Yahweh in the Quran, they will automatically say Yahweh because they keep it real. That's keeping it real on what they follow. in what they believe in.
See, I subscribe. This is what you get to understand. I subscribe to the circle. No, listen.
That's my question.
But see, you got to understand, brother. You think you just dealing with you're the toughest environment, but I got my kung fu is excellent. Okay. First of all, we are drawing off of the Circle 7 Quran, which was divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And in that lesson, it has all of those measures in there, sir.
But the Muslims don't follow the Circle 7.
Well, that's not, we're not them. We're Moorish American Muslims.
So why not just automatically say, of course, Prophet Noble Drew Ali? I'm following my leader.
I say Prophet Noble Drew Ali all day, every day.
There you go, brother. That's what I'm talking about, man. There you go. Stand strong on your foundation, brother.
Well, that is our foundation.
It wasn't Prophet Muhammad who brought you along. It was Prophet Noble Drew Ali who enlightened you, right?
That's true.
There you go, man. So come on, brother.
But you know what? When we read our nationality card, it says all the true and divine prophets.
Right. I know that. I know.
So that's why I say what I say.
Right.
Because he's a universal prophet. So that ties to everything. That's inclusive of everything. That's why it's so powerful, bro. Because they can go into Buddha, Confucius. We got teachers of Confucius in there, the Chinese. Mengste, one of the Chinese sages. We got demonstrations with Prophet Yeshua rocking with Lamas. He was walking around. They was walking around and having a conversation about life. And he was dropping some serious measures in there about how he went to live with the Ravana, the prince, the Indian prince that he went to, that was a patron to him. And he was allowed to be over there under his royal tutelage. You see what I'm saying? These are the 18 years that's missing from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the other parts that you were missing. This is why the prophet was divinely prepared to do what he did. This is what makes him a universal prophet. So we can stand on it. Our kung fu is excellent, bro.
So what you using? The crane technique or snake fist technique?
Whatever it takes to get the task done.
Got you, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you, man. Okay. Do you have more information? Would you like the guest to come in and maybe ask you some questions?
Sure.
It's up to you. All right, family. You already know. Let's be respectful to our guests. Just ask your questions. You don't need to come in and teach. We already got the teacher here. Ask your question. You can accept the answer or reject it. It's up to you. You can be strong on your question, long as you have respect for it. The link is in the chat for those who would like to come in. And brother, you can continue teaching until we get somebody to come in.
Islam. So it's really about mastery of self. It's not about, what people think. It's not about, because you have to, at the end of the day, there are two selves. And that's another thing we draw from when you get to chapter 3, the unity of life. When Elihu met in the sacred grove and he was speaking about the difference between the higher self and the lower self, how the higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right, and how the lower self is the body of desires and breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, thefts, and everything that harms. So you have to understand the difference between those in order to master yourself and truly get into a position where you are in a position of self-mastery, because it's not about what's outside of you. It's about what's inside of you. It's about understanding that the real foe is inside of yourself. You are your worst enemy. You're either your own worst enemy or your own best friend. Islam. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Mandinka Mali, do you have a question, brother?
Yes. Peace and blessings to sa.neter TV. Shout out to the Lions Den. Yeah, assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Islam.
All right. Yeah, now I had a question, like, the Moors that ruled Spain, Portugal, and Europe, like, do you, like, relate to them type of brothers, or are you a different type of more like Taharka Bay or Commission type more? There's a lot of different branches, and I'm trying to figure out why is there so many branches. I guess I could say because everybody ain't gonna agree, right? Like churches and stuff like that.
Right.
But what type of more do you represent? Go ahead, sir.
Islam. Thank you for the question, good brother. I represent the foundational, like when you're talking about, it's a merger. Because we are what our forefathers were without doubt a contradiction. So we're the same Moors that ruled Spain. We trace ourselves all the way back to the Moabites.
Okay, I got one more. I'm sorry. Let me get one more question. Real quick. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought he was done. He breathed first. He paused.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah.
You finish that.
Would you say that these Moors came over to the Americas before Christopher Columbus? Because my Lions Den champion sitting over here, we had a discussion about this, and he said that no blacks came over here before Columbus. What you think about that?
We was already here.
What?
We've been here since time immemorial.
I told my champ, says, you ain't want to listen. Go ahead, teach, man.
Yeah, well, there's a hidden history that's been, and this isn't by coincidence. This is by design, that our people have been thinking that they've come from somewhere else. There's back to an Africa type of thing. There's back to Africa type of demonstration. So I know you have I understand that there are a lot of people out there like Dane Calloway and, different mindsets that actually represent certain ideologies. But at the end of the day, if you're not aware of, who you truly are, then you're going to be misled into thinking that you're somebody else. In the prophecy, be yourself, not somebody else. Islam.
Thank you, JJ. Let me, before I go to Cedric, I'm going to ask you this quick question. You mentioned our forefathers. Mm-hmm. Who are our forefathers?
Ham, Cush. These were the individuals that were named in the trust document, chapter 47. So that goes into, like, you have to understand the span of time that's covered in the Circle 7 Koran. It goes back to several different millennia, because you also have to acknowledge that there was certain worldwide events that had caused the Great Atlantic Ocean, which means that at one point Atlantis did exist. Then this is
Hold on, Jay. Don't do that. Let him finish, brother.
This is actually ancient history. This is actually ancient history that exists prior to the flood.
Ham, Shem, and Japheth is not ancient history. That's really not history, brother. That's made up stuff, brother. That's not real.
He did say Kush, he said Kush.
Right. So again,
that's not real. Ham, Shem, and Japheth is not real. That's mythology.
Okay, whether it's mythology or not, we're talking about our forefathers.
Right.
And the fact that the history that the time,
but you mentioned Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
Hold on. The historical timeline goes back way farther than you think. It's a lot more to it. You don't understand the whole story because you have to be what you know, bro. You can't be what you've been told. Now, who told you? That's what it boils down to.
No one told me. No one told me.
How did you come? Well, let me ask you this. How did you come into that understanding?
Okay, now let me share it with you. I came into that understanding is because those who claim Ham, Shem, and Japheth, like Israelites, Hebrews, no one can prove it, including you. You won't be able to prove Ham, Shem, and Japheth. You see, you will read it in the Bible, but we know the Bible is not real. We know the Bible is fictitious. We know the Bible is myth. We know that's, ain't nobody got to tell me that, brother. I know that. That's not real. None of that stuff is real, brother. So I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to debate with you.
It's not.
But I'm just saying.
Here's the thing. This is the thing.
when we talk about our
somebody you learned, listen.
Yes.
You learned that from somebody, somewhere. You heard that
I
somewhere.
learned it through my own
conscience. No. Because if you know, you can be what you know. No, see, now it's not me on the hot seat. It's you on the hot seat now, brother. Where did you get the information that you got from? Because I know where I got my information from.
Where
Get
where?
the information that you get, that you spouting off
I'm
on
trying
your
to
platform.
tell you.
Where did it come from? No. I don't want you to tell me anything. I want you to explain to me who shared that information with you.
Myself.
How did you come to that understanding?
I'm getting the call. I'll be right back.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's your platform. It's like you telling me I have to prove something. Well, I'm here 10 toes down, and I'm getting my measure from the ancient pharaohs of Egypt.
I got you, brother.
That. We understand that they were actually sisters, those rulers.
Mm-hmm.
So we know well our history. We understand that we were the same ones that dredged the ancient rivers, the Nile, the River Nile, the Mississippi River, which still exists to this day, which is why we can lay claim to this being our land, sir.
Can I ask you another question?
I have no problem with you saying this our land. I ain't got no problem with that. Yes,
we're not just talking about what we heard. We know what we're talking about.
Can I ask you a question, brother?
The burden is on you to prove where you get your information from.
So you might have to put him in the moral hot seat. You might have to come up with some good questions. But can I ask you a question, my brother?
Go ahead.
Can you speak on the shipbuilding and navigation of the Moors and how they were more advanced than Europeans? Can you get into that, sir?
Yes, sir. We were the rulers of the 7 seas. When we came through the set, that's when they knew they had to pay tribute. We were the ones that were the pirates. We were the ones that kept order and law on the law of the sea. We were the ones that created the law of the sea.
That's right. Because some of these laws still exist to this day. There's maritime law, right? Go ahead.
That's it. That's how you connect. That's how you can tie in and connect everything in. That's why this ain't no simple science. You have to take up to 10,000 hours in the up-to-date library to get the drawing, for you can get to the real kung fu of it. Because your kung fu ain't good enough. You have to master yourself before you can get to this kung fu. So you have to be mastered of your own, so you got to be so strong mentally that you're not going to let yourself slip and say something you're not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm. I ain't ready. Commission Adapt, he kind of teaches the same type of teaching. He's one of my teachers when it comes to this type of information. See, Jay-Z is well versed. I used to just deal with the Bible, y'all, but now you limit yourself.
It's because this is universal science, so you can go into any respect. You can switch styles on somebody. You see what I'm saying? That's how cold you are mentally when you drill more science.
Look, they should put me in a box.
You can't come at me with a simple question like, "Oh yeah, let me take him off." No,
I like this guy.
You're not gonna get me off my square because I got a mission that I'm on to help save my people, and it's about the information that we're presenting that's going to put our people back on the top. And there's can be no interference with that. Because Allah is the one that's guiding, not me. Let me not take credit. Let me give all the credit to the great God Allah. All praise is due to Allah and His prophet.
So let me ask you another question about the Moors. So did they actually teach the Europeans how to brush their teeth and wash their butt? I mean, I'm trying to keep it PG.
Yes. And see, we're the ones. Check this out. Not only that, we are the ones that uplifted Spain. We're the ones that taught them how to wash their bodies every day. They even to this day, these Europeans, they'll take a shower like every other day, every 3 days. You know what I'm saying? They still didn't. You got a lot of them that still have regressed. Okay, but again, we are the ones that put all that into motion. As far as building, setting standards, we had these Europeans coming up to our the Sultan's palace and falling out on sight. It was so cold-blooded. That's how cold we were. That's how illustrious we were with the demonstration. We were the ones that set the standards for the schools. Like back in the day, like in Spain, they would send their children to Spain to learn from the Moors. That's how cold-blooded we was. But we forgot who we are. But guess what? We got a kung fu master that's ready to defend the faith in proper way. Islam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Islam. I'm rocking with you today. Hey, I like this guy, son. See, you teach. See, y'all focusing on the Tahaka Bay type of Moor. I'm not knocking them in the other type. What about the real, true history of the navigation and all the science arts that the Moors
it all ties in.
Contributed.
I don't want to talk down about Tahaka Bay.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, no. Tahaka is my, that's my guy, man. What I'm saying is, when a lot of Moors come on here, it's usually like, you kind of talking about, like, what's that guy, Noble July, like that. But we got to go back further, the real origins of the Moors, and give them some credit. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can see. That's the thing we're talking about.
I got to take a call. I'll be right back.
Over this is a history that spans over several different millennia. So we understand that. The Holy Bible, or it's actually a sun book. It's not even, so we looking at it from the wrong perspective in the first place. It's not even it's in allegory for a reason. It's written like that for a reason. So it's coded information. This is why the people that it actually refers to are not, you can't find the grave sites and all of that, because it's a message that it's supposed to convey. It's a storyline. It's actually a historical. It's a reference to bloodline.
Right. To the people that's out there, don't ask me to ask the brother a question. The super chat works. Support the channel, and that's all it is, brother. No disrespect to nobody. Show your support, man. That's all. And brother Lai, see, I answer questions to brothers and sisters who show support. Brother Lai supports. He support the debates. Him and his queen. And so I throw them questions up there. Brother Lai is asking you, brother, can you provide us with a case law to back any you saying out of your mouth, brother, respectfully? Can you cite any of the case laws to back up what you're saying?
Well, here's the beautiful thing about that question, and I love. I create case law.
Let's go.
So if you just Google my name, Grand Sheik Loveill, or you go into if you go into the federal court system and you know how to look up cases on the federal level, then you can put in Loveill and a lot of stuff will pop up. Okay. Just giving y'all some free game. Also, we also learn how to file within the state court system. So that's how we get how we make our fiat. We help people to file cases, even on the federal or state level. We can do it within all 50 states, and we can do it within whatever county or jurisdiction. We also create quick claim deeds and stuff like that. This is the kind of business that we're involved in when we're talking about helping our people. So we have Moorish law services, and that's it. Actually, what it is. That's how we, So we're not trying to pimp the people. We're actually doing it as a business. This is why we use the terminology Moorish, Abraham Lincoln type of lawyer, because we're not licensed to practice law, but we have the knowledge of how to put lawsuits together.
The brother asked the question, how do you create lawsuits again? Laws against?
How do you create case law again? Well, again, like I said, they will use, and they have used case law against me. Cases that I filed, they'll use those laws. And when you get into a certain level of understanding, they will use your own case law against you. That's how cold this game is. So you can't be illiterate or ignorant. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. The root word to ignorance is ignore. When you know who you are, then they will use the laws, the case law against you, and cite a case from a federal court case that you filed and say that, y'all, this is the reason now you're not going to give you a fee waiver because of this case. You see what I'm saying? So it works both ways. You know, when you learn how to shepherdize the law, it's like, you know, you can, like I said, I'm not trying to give up so much gain, you know, because I got, you know, I have to make sure that I'm, you know, getting, you know, showing proper respect for myself while also your platform.
Yes. So you said when you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying our nationality is not Israel, but it's Moors? Moorish?
I'm saying that it actually is. I can't speak about. Well, let me put
We
it
are
like
the
this.
same people. Those who call themselves Israelites, Moors, and Kemet. We are all the same people living here in America, and we just going under different terms and different perspectives.
We are one family.
Because we have the biggest identity crisis in the world. No other people fits that prescription but us. So I'm asking you, we are all the same people, but we think we are different because we
It's
go.
crazy, ain't it? It's crazy, man.
So I'm asking you,
Mm-hmm.
our nationality, brother, is it Moorish? Is it Israel? What's going on, brother? All African, brother.
We're descendants of Moroccans and born in that's
Okay,
that's why we're Moorish Americans, bro. But
Right.
that's the simplest way I can put it. But again, I got a lot of respect for a lot of brothers that come on your platform, especially the Hebrew Israelite brothers. You know,
yeah.
brothers be getting it in and holding
Oh,
it
I
down.
forgot to say, Native American Indians. We that too now.
Say it again.
I forgot to include American Native Indians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are. See, that's the thing. We are indigenous, so we come with the land. We was here before they even thought about coming here. So, Christopher, when the brothers say Christopher Columbus didn't land, come to there. Plymouth Rock. He said something about Plymouth Rock. Yeah, Plymouth Rock land on us. Yeah, we are the same people. We are truly very diverse people, and the fact that so many of us don't know who we are, that's one of the gravest travesties, man, because we were such a light to the whole world. And this is why
But you won't accept FBA. You won't accept FBA though.
Well, I don't accept it because it doesn't identify properly who we are.
Founded through Black Americans.
Well, I mean, we are indigenous to the land, so we are foundational in that sense, but not when we term ourselves as Negro, Blacks, and Colors. But we are indigenous, and we are the same people. They are, we are them, and they are us. You know,
Brother, they are asking you for your full name so they can go and look you up, brother. Is there a way that you could write it in the chat so I can highlight it? So they can go and check your workout?
Okay. Let me see.
Or if you want, you could just say it verbally, and they could probably go and get it like that.
Okay. We look up Grand Sheik L Love Ill.
It's right it's right up here, brother La. It's right on the title. Just type in Grand Sheik L Love L E-L.
And then, you know, like I said, it's a little bit easier to look up case law on the federal level, but the state level, it may be a little harder because, somebody answered the question. If wool-haired people are indigenous to America, why are we outnumbered by Mexican and Native Indian population and Europeans? Actually, the truth is we are not outnumbered because there's a subdivision. The human family is subdivided into two nations, that being Asiatic and European. All right.
I think he might be saying over here in America.
Well, even still,
Okay.
the numbers are that the Europeans are outnumbered by the Moors or the Asiatics 11-1. And I'm gonna back this up with get the book called The ISIS Paper by Sister Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, Keys to the Colors. And she speaks about how we outnumber the Europeans 11-1. So that means that everybody that's got melanin in their skin, whether it's Mexicans, Chinese, Japanese, they are all Asiatics. Whereas the Europeans, who are Irish, Italians, Swedish, English, Spanish, they are all outnumbered by the Asiatics, who are those. You got 55 nations in the continent of Africa. You see what I'm saying? All of those are Asiatics. You see? Then you have a bunch of Asiatics in Asia. You see what I'm saying? And so it's subdivided. But when you look at the whole diaspora, you will see that we outnumber them 11-1. Islam.
Let me go to Dr. Gabriel Hernandez L.
Peace to the family.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Peace, brother. You hear us?
Peace.
I just wanted to but yeah, we gotta be careful, what we're putting out here, because across the board side, so that you're clear, this brother, he is a Sheik. That is true. But as far as his trust demonstration and some of the fringes that he plays around on, that's not accepted by the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's nobody runs with that narrative. There's no trust. There's no trust that Noble Drew Ali created. So all of that is a farce. Me and this brother have had demonstrations live before. We've debated. I've debunked it live. I've showed where all of that is a fraud. I just wanted to say something, because I don't think this is a good representation for the Moorish Science Temple. You should have somebody that's respected across, or if you really want to ask questions.
So are you saying that this brother,
and no disrespect to the brother,
how could that not be disrespect when you're saying
the board,
he's not respected across the board? Brother, how could that be disrespect? People say things like no disrespect, but then they come on and do disrespect. You know what I'm saying? But that was disrespectful. You said this brother is not respected across the board. And then you said no disrespect. That's disrespectful, brother.
The irony.
My intention is not to be disrespectful. My point is to let you know that if you were to call some of the brothers that Sharif and some of these brothers, nobody runs with this demonstration.
But see, that's all Negroism, brother. I mean, listen, man. Listen for a minute, brother. That's all Negroism, brother. Everybody always bang on each other, even when you follow the same man. Instead of adding on to it, why don't you go behind the scene and y'all discuss that in the room? But when you come on the public and then y'all do it and go against everybody, how do you think the so-called white man look at y'all? Think about that, brother.
Exactly.
Look,
Hold on. That's what Mandela was talking about. All of y'all are.
You were talking to me.
Your kung fu is not good enough.
If I can respond,
please,
brother,
please do.
I understand what you're saying, sir. I do. But it is important that the people know that the caveat has to be put out that is not what's taught. That is not what we teach. That's not what we stand on. So I just wanted to clarify that. So that was just
First
just
of all,
a comment.
Can I respond to something he said? Now, everything that this brother, and I'm familiar with this brother because he came on the platform to try to disavow and disallow and try to trick the people into believing that it's not a trust. Okay. But I don't even think he calls himself a doctor. I don't know where he gets his degree from or where his scholarship comes from, but we have verified proof of what we say is being a fact. And the problem is that you don't know enough and you don't understand anything about Moorish science if you would come and speak to me as if I don't know what I'm talking about. Because if you had any understanding, you would know that the prophet brought us the deed. He brought the deed to our land and he put the other part of it in our Circle 7 Koran. And the mere fact that you don't understand that makes you incompetent. So you have your level of competency is that you don't even, what you think don't even matter. You have no say so in anything. And the people that you mentioned, they have no say so in anything because they're not doing anything in the law. They don't know anything about the law, and neither do you know anything about the law. And I say that with all due respect, Islam.
So all I will say is this, and this is going to be the last thing I'll say about it. Y'all can put in both of our names and go watch our debate and watch that everything that he talks about, I pulled it up in live time, in real time.
I've never seen that.
And debunked it.
Never seen that. I've never seen that video. Please send it to me too.
You were on there, brother.
Send it to me too. Please.
You don't remember?
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Now, if this is that time when you came on Taharka Bay's platform,
you remember?
Then you know what?
We pulled up.
You did. You had a very poor showing then.
We pulled up your
and
trust file.
You have a very poor showing now. As a matter of fact, as I recall, it wasn't even your platform. It was Taharka Bay's platform.
It was not my platform. No, it was not. But
okay. So you sound just as ignorant.
So set the debate up right here. Y'all should set it up right here then.
He sounds just as ignorant as he did back then.
Hey,
all right, hold on, Dr. Gabriel. Hold on, Dr. Gabriel. Do you agree as well that blacks, when I say blacks, you know what I'm talking about, so don't panic on me now. The quote unquote blacks in America been here prior to 1492. Is that true?
Yeah, but we from Africa, bro.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there you go. See the teachers? I like that. I like that teacher right there, brother. There you go.
You might not remember, but we had this conversation before.
Yeah.
Originally, I'm the brother that was supposed to debate with Reggie way back. You remember?
Right. I remember now. Yeah. Reggie got scared. I remember. So, yeah, let me ask you, brother, Love. So do you agree with that we are a people from Africa?
Okay. It's in the literature.
So you say we was here before, prior to 1492, yes?
Yes.
Do you have anything to prove that, brother? Anything, any sources? That's the brother, Armin Rob McCarthy. Not you, JJ. I'm talking to the brother.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you want me to prove that we were here before 1492?
Yeah, can you show proof of any blacks here in America prior?
There were no blacks. See, that's the thing. When
I say blacks, you don't get caught up with it. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait. You going off the rails right there when you say black.
Africans. Were there Africans here prior to 1492?
There were indigenous people here prior to 1492.
Were they Africans?
Well, yeah, they were of African. They were of African descent. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Can you show any proof, any documentation, any sources?
I would cite my sources of Circle 7 Koran.
Oh no, brother.
Oh yes.
Go ahead, show it.
It's a fact.
Pull it out.
You gotta show that, man.
No. I'm not gonna make it that easy. They gotta do some digging.
Just go to genetics, brother. You must have seen my presentation. You must have seen 3 years ago. I came over here and did Africans came here before Columbus. Then I did a debate with my champion Cedric on that topic. Did Christopher Columbus come here before Africans? See how we switched it up 2 times? Because Garfield ran from the first debate. So I let him know he had to claim me the victor. But anyway, this is what you do, bro. I ain't trying to take over your show. Go through genetics, bro. That's what you do. Sickle cell. The sickle cell gene was here way before Europeans came here. How'd it get over here? See, don't let me get to go outside there. I'm gonna fall back.
Man, Dink, I might need you to come do that show over here again.
Man, you're gonna have to see it, bro. I love Cedric, but the debate was supposed to be for but he sent one of his soldiers in, and Cedric was kind of like caught between a rock and a hard place. Because at that time, he's still the Lions Den champion because he beat Sick over here. Remember? But
all right, hold on. Let me show you how we are still a people who have a slave mentality, and we still been affected. Like even in Islam, there's different sets of Islam that go up against each other. You got the Moors who claim to be Muslim, then you got the Sunni Muslims who follow the Quran, and then you got other Muslims, so on and so on. There's so many different sets, but they all fight against each other. Then you got the Hebrew Israelites, who I don't know how many goddamn sets are the Hebrews. They probably 200 different sets of Hebrew Israelites. They all read the same Quran. They all read the same Torah. They all say Yahweh is their God, but they can't never agree. And these different sets never agree to each other. So something is wrong here. Then we got the Black Panthers out there, who is another group of another Black Panther offset that grows up that goes against the original Panthers. Then we have the Nation of Islam. There's another group who call themselves Muslim, who say we don't go by these teachings here. That's showing you that we are still slaves. The biggest identity crisis in the world. Like we don't know. So brother, you might claim more, but are you really a Moor? Because the Hebrews say our nationality is Israel. You say our nationality is Moorism. You see? The Muslims say, nah, brother, we got to go all the way back to Islam. So what are we, brother? And that's why we still fighting and struggling and having these debates about who are we as a people, because we never had a plebiscite where we come together under an umbrella to discuss who are we moving forward. We never had.
No. Go ahead, sir.
And we got to get to that. Other than that, then we're just going to still be scattered, keep on fighting each other, and keep arguing. Our baby's going to be right here when we done and gone, brother.
Hey,
doing the same thing.
I agree with you. I'm on that Steve Coakley tip. He was a close friend of mine. So when you start speaking like that, I feel you on that. If you ever want to set it up, I'm down. If there's a debate y'all want to set up, I'm down. Just hit me up.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good. What do you think about that? Grand Sheik, you think about taking the brother on?
Taking the brother, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the brother right here, the Dr. Gabriel. Come on, brother. Stand strong, brother.
Environment. Like I said, I don't have a problem with this will be Taharka Bay 2.0. Hey, like I said, this brother, he came on the platform. I couldn't even see his face. Okay. So he was
you see his face now?
I see it now. Yeah. But
he ain't hiding.
Again, that's good. I'm glad he's here because he has his job, he has his role. I don't know how he funds his movement or who his Grand Sheik is. I have to assume that it's brother Sharif Ani Al Bay, and that's good. That's cool. I ain't got no problem issues with that.
Yeah, shout out to Sharif. That's my man. Is it the Sharif, the Kung Fu brother?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, shout out to my brother Sharif Belbay. Shout out.
So, like I say, I'm not going to go into debate and try to show. I would like to see you debate an Israelite. And
stop, stay right there, sir. They just got to pick a topic.
Yeah.
Now you don't lose this debate, bro. I'm gonna help you out.
All right. Hey, my brother, Doctor, you know the private chat. Can you put your number in the back so that I can have it, brother? And I'm gonna send you my number.
Okay. Yeah. I see you.
Put it in the private chat, and then I'm gonna call you, and you'll have my number, and we're gonna set something up. I agree with JJ. Yeah, I agree with JJ. JJ, my man, is there right now, y'all.
Yeah, man, we're gonna see some more violence in the debate circle, y'all. You hear me? In the Coliseum. You hear me? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, let me go down over to Brother Lai. Brother Lai have did some research, and he's pulling records. So, Brother Lai, what you got, brother? Dr. Gabriel, I ain't seen nothing yet. You know how to get to the private chat? See where it says 6 people? Right on the right side, all the way at the bottom. Mine's is at the bottom.
I see it.
Yeah, hit that right there. It's going to take you in the back where nobody will see it but me.
First and foremost, peace and blessings to everybody that's on the panel, as well as to your families.
All right, this is a Muslim brother here who follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Go ahead and speak, Brother La. Sorry for cutting you off.
It's all right, brother. Salam, brother.
He's
Hello.
talking to you, brother. Sheik.
Would it be better if I address you as Robert?
All right, don't call out the brother government, man.
Hey, we might have another debate, son. I think Brother Law finna jump out. He finna jump out there and get his first debate.
Man, let him talk. Let him talk.
Nah, man, if he just coming up here woofing, there ain't no point in coming up here. Let's get it.
Man, thank God. I don't want to put you in the back, brother. Let the man talk, man. Go ahead, Brother La.
I just pulled up some of the cases just now, so I don't mean the words.
Okay.
The first case I'm looking at right now, for the court rulings, it says they couldn't represent themselves as an agent or officer of any trust in Americas Incorporated.
Well, they don't know yet that the queen is a lawyer, brother. They don't know, but I know.
Just pulled it up. They couldn't represent themselves as any trusts, as any trustees, as any agents or officers. I'm looking at it right now. That's why I said respectfully, would it be more comfortable if I addressed them as Robert?
Sheik, he's talking to you, Sheik.
That's the wrong energy to bring up here, bro. For real.
No, listen, hold on. First of all, he's not
finna get crazy. Sorry, watch.
He's not referring to me when he says Robert. My name is not Robert, sir.
And this is why I asked
you got the wrong person. Islam.
It's Robert Love, also known as Grand Sheik Love.
It says Robert Love L.
I'm
also
not
known
Robert
as
Love Hill. I'm Lionel Love Hill. You got the wrong person, brother. Islam.
Right. It says Grand Sheik L. Love, also known as Robert Love.
I'm not Robert Love. That's where you're wrong. You don't have. I don't even think you have the right case, sir.
We don't have that case. Okay. Well, the Moors can't represent themselves. Okay.
But I have a whole lot of. I wrote a book. I got so many cases. If they're interested, then they can order the book. It's online too. Amazon.
Is there one case law that you can give us as a reference? Can you give us one case law?
Give us one case.
Again, I'm gonna answer the question like this: I create case law.
If you do create case laws and you have one in, I know.
Buy the book. Buy the book. That's what you do. Buy the book. Islam.
Young color.
That's fine. We're done. That's me. We're done.
That's how we source up. We are the source.
Peace. What's going on, Brother Shai? Shout out to my little student that came up on here, Brother Gabriel, before he went and joined the Tahaka Base Circus. I want to give a shout out to him real quick. But Brother La, there's two love Sheik Love. I think the other one may have passed. He was an older dude. So I knew when you was pulling that case up that's probably who you were pulling up. Both equally pseudo, but I just came up here to tell you that.
Okay, bro. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Peace out, y'all.
All right. So, brother, I think you need to get that straight, Sheik. You got to really get that straight, man, where people don't pull up the wrong name, because now your name is tied to the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, people that know really know. You know what I'm saying? Those
Yeah.
that are supposed to know, they know. They know
Okay,
exactly
but what
they
about
need to
those?
do to pick
But
the
what
thing
about
apart.
those who don't, like Brother La, like
This is
me?
how-
Everyone to go do research and look
this is
you
why-
up and check your information out.
This is why I'm on the platform now, because more people need to know.
Okay.
It's not a secret. I'm here for the people, you know, and if you notice, you know, there's no confrontation. Like ones try to come in. If you look at that video where we had with Taharka, you'll see how our Kung Fu, how we displayed ourselves in that measure. And that was like about 7 years ago. Right.
Respectfully, Aki, the way you can alleviate all this back and forth conversation so you can break brick is just by giving a case law, brother. Just give us a case law. That's how you can alleviate all this kung fu, judo, pseudo. Just give a case
it's
law.
not pseudo. It's judo, but it's not pseudo. And at some point, ones have to do the research and be able to do the knowledge themselves and look things up. And so a lot of that deals with the individuals that's coming to ask the questions. You have the question and the answer. You know, if you really truly astute in what you do, and you're truly a lawman or mastermind, then you know how to look up stuff. You know how to distinguish the different people. And then, like I said, I have a book out there. It's called Birthright War. A soldier without a foe never knows his strength. So I got a book I can show you in reference to that. I got a copy of it on me right now. I can show you that, and we can do it like that. How about that?
I'm just asking for a case law, brother. That's it. That's the case. That's it. One case. That's it. Just one case.
Okay. I got one for you. It's Loveville versus Biden. There's a case law for you right there. Look that up. In the federal court, the 7th Circuit, federal court. Now, if that's right there, that's more than enough right there. And that's just one case. But we don't have to debate and argue because we got receipts to show for the work that we've done. So that removes all of the debate. We actually have receipts for any debaters. And that's why we wrote the book.
Nah, brother. We don't run from debates, brother. We don't run from call outs, because even though you have the receipts, now you got to present them to the people so that we can see it. We don't just go by word of mouth, brother. You have a duty.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. You have a duty to perform, and that is to give it up to the people.
People have a duty to perform, and they have to support the right scholarship.
All right, so
you're part of it. So
that's why we're going to bring the scholarship.
No, listen. You making money on your platform, right?
I'm making a couple of pennies.
Okay, so now we also had to eat too, right?
Right.
So people need to know, and they need to be if they hungry, then they're gonna eat, and they just have to know where to look.
But didn't you get up here earlier?
I will guide you, like I just said. I gave you case law. He asked for case law. I gave it to him. Maybe he didn't like it the way I gave it to him, but I did give it to him.
Now, Brother La, if you remember what I said to you on the phone, do you remember, Brother La? Just answer me. When I talked about the money part and all of that?
Yeah, I remember.
See what I'm talking about? I told you, brother. That's what I be trying to tell you.
That's why I'm saying.
A servant is worthy of his
I
height.
prophesied it.
A servant is worthy of his height.
I agree. But listen to me, brother. I'm with you. I agree with you.
All right.
I'm with you 100%. I always say that a brother deserves to get, economics and all. I've been said that. I agree with you. I'm not in any disagreement.
Right.
Because if we can buy all the other stuff and get our Netflix and get all the weed and the smoke and the coke and the liquor and the drinks we should be able to support each other as well. Whether it's $5, $10, with all the people come through, it adds up. But we cheat when it comes to each other like that. So I get you. I'm with you on that, man.
It's mine.
I have no issue or no problem with information being presented and from a person doing the research, by all means, giving some charity and things of that nature. I have no problem with that.
Well,
What I'm asking
you shouldn't, brother. You spend like $300 something at City Island, brother, every week, man. Y'all eating good, man. I only can afford to go at least once a month, brother. I go damn near twice, 3 times a month. I can't afford that.
man. There's a question also. There's another question I wanted to ask, brother, but I see
Yeah.
No, he actually got up. He walked away. So.
Oh, he'll be back. Yeah, that broke me, man. Last time I went, brother, I was like, God damn.
Hey, Saul, let me ask you something. You know, you are a native New Yorker and you have a little age on you, just like me. And a lot of the newer people think that the current capital of hustling and scamming and flim-flamming is ATL. But people with age on them know that New York always been a damn hustle city. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Go ahead.
You can't get nothing over on a darn New Yorker because you all been doing it since whenever. So you know how to avoid the darn flim-flam, man, and how to avoid getting hustled. You know what I'm saying? Because you done seen it all. You done seen it all. You done heard it all. Right? So I think that a lot more of our people need to have the same wisdom and knowledge that you have. Because looking through the chat, I see that, you know, there are some people who, you know, are questioning, but there are some people who buy anything that is said hook, line, and sinker. You know, I call them all day suckers. They just walking licks. They just waiting to give their money to whoever get up here and say something and make them feel good, when we should have a certain burden of, brother, show me something. Show me something that makes me want to buy that bridge that you're selling in Brooklyn to me. Show me something, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna wait till the brother get back because I have a couple questions for him.
All right, brother La, you got another question? He's back, brother La.
Yes, I do have a question.
Okay,
in regards for the Quran number 7, what would be your prescription would be towards being prescribed towards prayer as a Moor?
Unmute yourself, brother. You muted.
Islam.
Brother.
You would say, what's my prescription for prayer?
Yes, as a Moor. What would be the teachings in regards for prayer as a Moor?
All right. We cite the prayer. The Moorish American prayer is as follows. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amin. So typically, we're supposed to pray at least 2 times a day, Moorish Americans. All right. And as far as the Circle 7 Koran, it's actually a trust document. The whole demonstration is a trust instrument. So all of it is part and parcel of the trust, including chapter 47. So, and the thing about it is every temple has to be approved by the prophet and the grand body. Okay, so there is a certain decorum. And this is part of the reason why you get so many splinters and so many people have different grand sheiks, because some of the grand sheiks have only went surface level into understanding what those lessons are, those measures are. Some of us have gone deeper, and we've been able to extract the jewels out of the measure, which we refer to as the Circle 7 Koran, which was divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Ali, who was sent to redeem us. So when you go into the first part and it speaks about the servant is worthy of his hire, and it says that this pamphlet can be received at an expense. So there's a certain protocol, like even when you are reading the measure, you're supposed to read the cover, the certain things on the cover to open up the meetings properly. And see, the issue is that you have Moorish American Muslims that don't know how to read. Because if they did, they would know that, in accordance to Act 2, all meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How do you do that? See what I'm saying? Most of these Moors don't even know how to open up a meeting properly. So is it any wonder why we haven't come as far as we had to? Is it any wonder why we've been sleeping, because we've been sleeping on these lessons? Is there any wonder why we have the issues that we've been having? Because you don't know, like these brothers came on here talking about here's a doctor, all right, trying to tell me that there is not a trust. But if you knew anything about the Prophet, you would know that you're creating a situation where you're showing yourself to be a fraud, because we've already discussed and put the measure out there that it is in fact indeed a trust, and we proved that it's a trust. And they still believing that it's not a trust. And guess what? That's Allah's divine protection, because what that means is that they are not supposed to be the ones that partake in the Moorish honors, because they have not been able to access the wisdom of the sun. They don't get it. They haven't figured it out. So it's just like what Allah says, that he would lead some astray and some from the mustaqim, the path, as it says, like in the opening, the Al-Fatiha. See what I'm saying? It's the same demonstration. Islam.
Okay, brother. Now, are we speaking about in regards for Noble Jew Ali, born in November the 8th of like 1887 or 85, somewhere around there?
His birthright is January the 8th, 1886.
Okay. Mm-hmm. With that being the case, are we somewhat making a comparison to defining him as a prophet and making him somewhat in the same aptitude as Esau, the Prophet Muhammad, or any of the other prophets?
Yes, he is. Because he fits the whole criteria for being a prophet. And I remember having some debates with some of my brothers in the Sunni Islam. I think Surah 10:36 speaks about his prophethood in 14:4, because it clearly states that a prophet is sent from amongst the people that he's to redeem.
Freestyling now, brother.
Well, Islam, I'm just saying, keeping it real like that. When you say that, it's like you're trying to promote the premise that something we wasn't meant to have a prophet. And the fact is, he came divinely prepared in due time. You see what I'm saying? And this is part of the reason why he set it up as a trust, because he knew there would be people that had ulterior motives and that would try to do everything in their power to circumvent the Moors and how we operate our trust. And there would be certain agents that would be enlisted and they would charge, and they would receive money from other agencies to try to discombobulate any movements that we will make by our own actual freedom. So this is not by coincidence. This is by design. And the fact that many of our people are still, mental slavery, pretty much affected by mental slavery to the extent that they can't see themselves as being in a position of power or authority.
Okay,
Sorry,
brother.
can I ask him something? I'm sorry, y'all can finish, Brother Law. I thought y'all were finished. I want to ask him something after y'all complete.
I just pulled something up, so I just want to get clarity on it. I just wanted to get clarity on it before I even go any further into depth with it. I'm looking at a case law now in regards to the Grand Sheik Love L versus Biden and it appears. Is that the case that you were speaking in regards to, brother?
Yeah, it probably is one of the cases that we filed.
In regards to President Joe Biden. Okay. All right. I'm going to dig through this a little bit more. I appreciate the information, brother. From your perspective, I'll say that.
Great. Let me ask the brother a question or two. If I could, I want to say greetings to you, first of all, brother. But my question has to do with some of the Moorish knowledge that you have brought and you are bringing. You've made reference to such things as law, and you've made reference to things such as paying tribute. And I need to understand, how are you framing law when you face things that are similar to, when you know Moorish law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Are you saying that Moorish law trumps, let's say, American law? Are you suggesting that if you are familiar with Moorish law, you can circumvent American law to where you are exempt from certain things, whereas you'll make a police officer bow down or whatever? Or is this what you putting up in the atmosphere, that Moorish law is some type of esoteric secret knowledge that will give a individual exceptional power? Just to be.
That's an excellent question, brother. Because my answer for that is Moorish law is American law.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad that you said that, because in the conversation y'all are having concerning trust, I think that a lot of people should know that anyone who is financially literate you don't even have to be financially literate, but anyone can go set up a trust, really. So I don't like how some brothers, not saying that you have, but some brothers treat the subject of trust like it's something secret or hidden or only certain people can do. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to ask you is, when it comes to law, once again, what makes law effective? What gives law its power? I want the people to understand something, because you can have all the law that you want, but you have to have something else in order to make that law effective, to make people pay attention to your law. What is that other element that is necessary for anyone to give a damn about anyone's law?
Well, we have to understand that, number one, law governs all events, right? So that means there's a law in regards to everything that's under the sun. And when you master, so the focus has to be on mastery of that law, that particular law, like the law of gravity, the law of nature. There's everything that you make a reference to, understanding who you are, and so when we're able to do certain things, like when we get our passport cards, and then they have we get a certain, there's a certain status that we have when we put our, when we get our passport cards. You know, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
All right. While you're showing me that. All right. So you're saying that everything is governed by law. Now,
it's all events.
All right.
So
What is it?
we holding that? That's like that's a passport card.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain laws that governs how you get that passport card, and the fact that, like, when they pull you over, it's a certain designation. You get 5 stars on there, so that means that you have a diplomatic immunity status. When they put it, it's real. So
wait. That card that you just had, that you just showed, that
no
gives
taxes.
you,
it's no
gives you diplomatic immunity.
Well, yeah, there's no. We don't pay any taxes. Like if we go to the store and they key in the information on this card, it's a number on the back of the card. You see that?
I don't really see it, but I can.
Taxes. It shows it begins with a C, and when you give them that information, it shows that you're tax exempt. When they put that into the system, then you pay no taxes.
So
basically, that you go to.
So basically, you are saying that Moors and the Moorish temple, or, I may not be saying it right, but y'all have a force that's equal to or greater than the force that America, because that's what I was waiting on you to say, that law is backed up by force. You can make all the law that you want. You can know all of the law that you want. If you don't have force, no one's going to pay attention to your law. So you're saying that right now Morocco has sufficient force to whereas y'all can sit at the table with America and say, look, you had better give our people sovereignty and not oppress them, or we can go to war and we'll have mutual destruction. So you're saying that Morocco has that now, that the Moorish science has that now, because that is the only thing that gives power, actual power in this world. The threat
there has to be a collective unity amongst our people, so that they can understand that they can rally around a real grand sheik that has went into the system to effectuate things positively. So I haven't just been, playing in my behind. I've been actually doing things on a level to put us on the map. And I've been doing a lot of things. I'm not flamboyant with how I carry my business and what I do, because the law governs all events, and I'm doing what's within the realms of possibility. So I'm meditating for the most part, so that I can be in tune with my higher self.
I don't think that you understand what I'm saying, brother. I don't think that the Moors have any type of power or threat of force that can make a country such as America compromise with them. I don't think that the Moors have any type of power here in 2025 to whereas any country would give them any type of respect or have to honor anything with them. Do you have anything showing where Moors have anything that can force America to have to compromise with them because they don't want to go to war with Morocco? I mean,
well, here's the thing. When you get access to the lessons, you'll see that there's a picture of the prophet, and then the next page there's a picture of Sultan Abu Saud ibn Saud. He's not there for decoration. Okay, he's there because then we still have a greater influence than what we know, and the knowledge is power. We've perished because we lack the knowledge and to study and to understand who we truly are and who we truly be. Because if that's the case, then you would have more ills and bays around to demonstrate. But many of our people want to get caught up into what they've been told, rather than to do the actual research so they can be the message that they bring and be who they actually are and start representing properly. Because there was a speech, there was brother Yeshua was having a debate in the Circle 7 Koran with one, his name was Barato Arabo. Okay, and he asked him a question. He had this flowery speech. It kind of reminds me of the interactions I've seen on this platform. And he asked the brother, he asked the brother if he was a mastermind, then why would he be able to trace himself back, something to that effect. He said masterminds, can you remember when you were an ape or any other thing? Because mine never does forget. Because he was really getting to some it sounded like he was really getting to some high science. But he said, he asked him a question. He said, Barada Rabo, how could you say when somebody told you? You said because he said something to address him. He said, but since the priests have told us, we know, so that's how we know. He said, because
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, brother. But that sounds to me like an average person. That sounds like, and it sounds like pseudo judo. It sounds like a bunch of nothing, brother. Can you show me where Moors actually have power? Not some, when you get the
First of all, when you don't know, that just proves to me one thing: you really don't know your history. So, what is your nationality?
History?
Yeah,
your nationality? I am American, brother. American.
You're an American. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's some things that's been left out, and you need to really freshen up and get up on your skills. Because if you were an American, what do you consider yourself to be? A foundational American, or what?
Whatever people want to call it. I don't get into the details of it. Whatever people want to be, I am American.
Law governs all events, so you have to be able to prove who you are within the law.
And I can't do that. I can't do that.
So what's your dominant? Who do you refer to yourself as? What's your actual name?
My actual name is my actual given name, Timothy Shaitan Dizali Wright.
And how did you get that name? Were you born with that name?
My mother gave it to me.
Your mother gave it to you?
Yes.
So she named you?
Yes.
Okay. So what does the name mean?
It means a name. Is words, names, just like we name everything else. We've named everything here. You know what I'm saying? We play with names. We call ourselves Black people. We can do things like that with the words that we choose to, because we made these words. We can call ourselves Black people. We can call ourselves
but what does it? But see, but then the consequences that when you call yourself certain things, then there are certain ramifications that come with that. Like the people that hear this from you, they don't have to honor what you say.
All right, great point. What makes someone honor something? Force, right? So I can call myself by the proper name, but if I don't have the force or the army to make someone honor it, I'm just doing nothing, right?
Well, the prophet said that the government was behind him and he was trying to get behind us. See, that's part of the reason. That's the part that you miss. You think that with the lessons that this man is not effective, so you don't study that. You don't study him.
I studied it.
So then, if you studied them, how long have you been
knowing? Listen to me. How
long have you been knowing that you are more?
I went through that phase 20 years ago, and I finally understood that it's worthless. That it's worthless, brother. Because Moors have no power. Moors have no military.
You don't know what power is, brother.
I know what power is.
It's force.
Force, right? So what force does Morocco have? Edify us on that. What force does Morocco and Moors have? What army do you have? Do you have a bomb? Do you have tanks? That's force.
Everything that's on this land is ours. So it's
what makes something yours? What stops someone from taking what's yours from you? Let's say this land is yours and I roll up with an Abrams tank. What's going to stop me from taking your land? Nothing, right?
All right, brothers, let's move on. Hey, before I bring you in, Lex, because I know you long-winded, Brother La is not that long. He's just going to probably come and ask him a question. Then I'm going to bring you on, Lex, to have where y'all two can go ahead and talk. Brother La, you got the floor.
Yes, I just was trying to confirm the brother. If was it filed, the case against Biden, was it filed in 24 or 25, Lionel?
That was filed in 2024.
Okay.
It was terminated April 8th, 2025.
Yeah, it was terminated in April 8th, 2025.
Well, there's a beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
With the purpose for us filing the case is so that we can make the record. So we can always go back and open up any case on the basis of fraud. And there's no statute of limitations for fraud or murder. Next question.
Yes, we're looking at this terminated. We see this terminated. All right, I'll drop the case in the back chat, sa.neter, for you. That way you guys can look at the case.
All right.
All right.
All right, Lex, you on the call, brother. You are on the call.
Yeah, peace. You know what I mean? Shout out to the brother. As FBA, I have no problem with Moors. Moors fall under the American banner, just like Israelites fall up under the American banner or any other joint. Now, what's confusing about what I heard, especially from Dizali and what we was, the brother asked him what he was. He said American. I'm a little confused. I thought he was gonna say African. So I think that, and then I'm gonna ask the brother a question. I just want to say, I think that those that are divisive try to promote the divisions more than what we have in common, because everyone here will say they're American. Even Moorish is American is the nationality, even in Moorish. And then we go, I think that we highlight our differences, and there's agents of division that want to highlight the difference. We're all Black Americans. I think that everybody with a different beliefs and ideologies, separate from what a nationality is, we are Black Americans. I don't think even the Moorish dude has to admit that. The only people in the way right now are the Pan-Africans, really. But I want to ask the brother a question. I actually want to show a source and see what something, and see if the brother can elaborate on it for me. I put it in the back, sa.neter. It's called the American.
You don't want to share your screen?
No, I can't share my screen right now. If you can share it for me. American Journal. You'll see the link. It says American Journal in the back chat. And another thing I want to add while you're pulling that up is I hear what you're saying, Dizali, but I think to some degree the slave always wants to imitate its master. The white man's way of doing things is force, death, and destruction. But Gandhi ran the British out of India without raising a gun. The bus boycotts and the love movement that we had during the civil rights movement didn't have to bust a bullet and change the course of history. The pen is mightier than the sword. So if you go down, scroll down all the way till you get to, I think, page 13, sa.neter. This is Columbus's journal called The Third Journey of Columbus.
You said page 13?
When you'll see the little thing, it says 13. It's around 13. You'll see it on the let me blow it up so I can see. Hold on. Let me see.
This is up to page 325.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Sovereigns hadn't do principal habit. There it is, right? Stop right there, actually. The Voyages of Columbus right here. Let me go down a little. All right, I'm gonna read this. Let me see if this is it. Pleasure.
I don't know how to blow it up, so.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So I want to read this real quick. So this is Columbus talking about his journey. And Admiral says further that the said king, Don Juan, was certain that within these limits, famous lands and things must be found. Certain principal inhabitants of the island of Santiago came to see them, and they said that to the southwest of the island of Huego, which is one of the Cape Verde Islands distant 12 leagues from this, may be seen an island that the king Don Juan was greatly inclined to send to make discoveries to the southwest. And the canoes have been found which start from the coast of Guinea and navigate to the west with merchandise. Here the admiral says again, as if he was speaking with sovereigns, he that is 3 in 1 guides me by his pity and mercy. Now here he's talking about this island where there's these canoes that come from the coast of Guinea to navigate to the west with merchandise. But let me go down further, because then it expounds on who these people are. Scroll up a little more, sa.neter. And it'll tell you who these people were. Let me see here. Hold on. Because I'm on my phone, so it's hard for me to hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, King Forces. Okay, here we go. Now look here. It says, because then he would be on a parallel with the island of Sierra of Los and Cape of sa.neter in Guinea, which is below the equinoctial line. When he says that below the line of the world found more gold and things of value, and that after he would navigate, the Lord pleasing, to the west, and from there would go to Hispaniola, in which route he would prove the theory of the King John aforesaid, and that he thought to investigate the report of the Indians of Hispaniola, who said that there had come to Hispaniola from the south and southeast a black people who have the tops of their spears made of metal, which they call guanine, of which he had sent samples to the sovereign to have them assayed. And when it was found that of 32 parts, 18 of gold and of silver and copper. So he goes on to talk about these black people. Now this is what they try to do. When people talk about were black people here before Columbus. Now the Indians are reporting this to Columbus. So they know what Native Americans are. They make a strict description and say these black people, by the way, they were warring against this black, and they were tall people too. Unlike the Indians, they were also described as very tall. And before that, you've seen in the same place, they said that these boats came from Guinea of Africa with merchandise in canoes. So I asked my brother, you see they're being described as black. Who are these people here, in your opinion, my brother? Are these Native Americans that he's describing? Are these Europeans, or are these Africans?
Okay, Islam. The first thing is, if you look at the word black, right? He says,
Well, I
a
don't
black
want you to get into the. I know how y'all feel
no,
about
no,
black.
no, no. Well, no. Reason why I'm doing this, I have a reason for saying that. It's because I'm looking at the actual document that you showed me, and I'm saying if you look at the word black, take note of that. It's a small b, right? Now, when you have a noun, is usually capitalized. So, like for example, the word Mexican, the M is always capitalized because it's a proper noun.
Yeah, we know black is a description, brother.
Right,
I
it's
like.
an adjective. So
Right.
again, they're
I know,
using a
but
description, but that's not real. There
I
are no
know, but
such
that's
thing
not,
as black people.
brother.
And
That's
I'm
not what I.
showing you. No, I'm showing you this for a reason. You got to have proper scholarship. So when you read the term "a black people," that's a form of
Bro,
disrespect right
this is
there
the
according to
problem,
literature.
brother.
No, I'm piecing it apart so that you can
I
understand
didn't do
and
this
get
to
a better
argue with you,
understanding
brother.
of it.
I'm actually like, listen to what I'm saying, bro. I understand your perspective on the word black.
Yeah.
You're going kind of off, with all due respect, and a tangent on this word. I'm more concerned about who the people are than you having a problem with how they're described. When
I
Columbus
get
sees them,
this,
he's
but then who's
describing.
who's the author of this work? First of all, is it Columbus?
This is Columbus's third voyage diary.
Okay. Again, that's you that source doesn't do us any good. That's not the best source, bro.
Okay, bro. I don't understand. All right, all right, you don't like the term black, you don't like the source.
No,
Were you
it's not
aware?
real. It's not.
All right, but
I
that's
just
not.
showed you. I just
Okay, I
showed you,
was
and
actually trying to
according to
see.
the English language, that is
Okay,
not. It's not real. Black is an adjective, sir.
okay, bro. Are there people that can be described as black?
I
That
understand
adjective?
that it's used as a description, but it's not. That's not real.
Okay.
There are no such thing as black people.
Is there such thing as people with black skin?
No, there are dark olive people.
All right,
There are
so
dark
all
olive,
right,
light
but
olive, and medium olive. If you want to be descriptive.
all right, bro, let's get over the black. Who are the people that's coming off the west coast of Guinea in canoes with merchandise? That's what I meant to.
Those are
That was
Asiatics. They're Asiatics. That's what I
okay. All
refer
right,
to them
bro.
as.
I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
against you, brother.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
So
They're
so
Asiatic.
I'm just saying. So that's proof from
Yeah,
Columbus's own mouth
yeah.
that what you call Asiatics was in America, right? Can that be
That's right.
disputed?
That's right. That's a fact. We were here first. It shows that we were here prior to them coming here. How are they going to discover something and people was already here? Make it make sense, please. So even by their own accounts, that's proof that we were here before they came. And that's in scholarship. Is that
Lex,
all you
still there, Lex? You on mute, Lex? Lex, you on mute? Yo.
I don't know if he hear you. Still on mute, bro.
All right, he fell off. So go ahead, brother. You can wind it down now. We got like about 2 or something hours in here, man.
Oh, praise Allah. I'm glad. I was just glad that I could be of service.
You did good, brother. You just got to bring some sources over here. When you come over, you got to bring your records. Do you know how to share your screen and all that? That way you can bring your proof and share the screen like he just did where you could see it.
Yeah, you know what? Matter of fact,
it's very easy.
I'm gonna have some. I have a way that I need to share this. So
yeah. See,
yeah, because it is, like I said, the brother talked about case law. I understand that knowledge is sometimes when people don't agree, it's not considered to be popular. They will speak against it. Oh, Islam, brother's back.
Oh, Islam, bro. Yeah, bro. Like I said, I wasn't going against you or trying to get into the black thing. I was only trying to show that there was Asiatics in America before Columbus. Now I saw there's another source back there. If you can pull it up real quick. It's from an article, a news article in 1975, the New York Times, and it's talking about the discovery of Africans in the Virgin Islands dating back to 1250. Now, a lot of times what they do is these things will come out, and then they'll come out and then try to bring information after they initially say what it is. Then the white supremacists will come out and then try to debunk it after the initial finding. So, and then black people get caught up in what white people say so much that they don't analyze and see that they be hating. Yeah, so scroll down down to the article part. Here we go right here, right? This was published in 1975, I think, by the Smithsonian. Last February, a Smithsonian Institution team reported finding 2 Negro made skeletons. The men died in their late 30s in a grave in United States Virgin Islands. The graves have been used and abandoned by native Indians long before the coming of Columbus. Soil from the earth, layers in which skeletons were found, dated to 1250 AD. A study of the teeth showed a type of dental mutilation characteristic of early African cultures. And clamped around the wrist of one of the skeletons was a clay vessel of pre-Columbian Indian design. There is no isolated find. Skills that, according to the physical anthropologist Ernest Houghton, closely resemble crania of Negro groups coming from parts of Africa have been found in pre-Columbian layers in the valley of the Pecos River in northern Mexico and Texas, which empties into the Gulf of Mexico. Is there any other questions about whether there's evidence for African? And we can do this all day. That's what I'm saying. The gaslighting is just crazy. Academia, scholars, and even from white to black scholars know about the African presence in America before Columbus.
Finish it off. Let's finish it off. You ended on Mexico.
The historian Frederick Person, in his study of ancient Mexico, emphasized the strong Negroid substratum that intermingled with the Olmec magicians. The Olmecs were an American people who inhabited the Gulf Coast in the first millennium before Jesus.
All right.
We saw us up over here on the HOK, right?
Yeah.
So why are people gaslighting us like Asiatics, Moors, blacks, Africans, whatever you want to call them? See, we don't got to stress the divisions. We know we're talking about the same people. We are foundational black Americans. All of us, we can cut out everything we add to American that divides us. We're Americans, and we know we're black. And, you know, if the Moors have a problem with that word, I understand. But Moor, in the sense, means black or dark. So we're arguing when I say we really don't have an identity crisis, I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying that we were so far in Africa the whole time that we just never recognized our culture here and how rich it was. And we're Americans, and that's what it comes down to. And we have African descent or whatever else you want to call it. But if I ask anybody their nationality, you better believe the word American is going to be in there no matter what they put before it. So there should be no more question. And by the way, YK, that was just a taste, bro. I don't know what happened when we were supposed to still have that debate, but you can see, bro, I will embarrass you in a debate and nautical incidents and whoever pseudo killers. Anybody want to debate me on the African presence in America, I will cook you. Peace to the Moor, Islam, foundational black Americans rise up.
All right.
Islam.
All right. Apostle, I don't know what's going on with your system. You on mute right now? I don't know what's going on, brother. 1 minute, you good? I told you don't mess with that mic. And
yeah,
now
next minute I ain't messing with the mic, man. My internet went out.
All right, you sound good. You sounded good.
I'm not on the internet.
All right, you sound good. So do you have a question for the brother?
Yeah, no, I wanted to show my ID, just like he got a driver's ID. I got one that says diplomatic immunity too.
All right, show it. Let's go. Show it for the
I can't
15th
show it.
time. Oh man, cut your camera
I
on.
can't. Listen, man. I'll be talking to you, man. I don't know if you be listening, man. I said yesterday my internet went out.
But you're on right. Oh, you're on the. Nah, you were still on.
I'm on YouTube. I'm on Wi-Fi.
Turn on your
That's why
camera.
my camera's acting up because I don't have an Ethernet.
All right, I got you. Pay the bill, brother. How much? You all right?
It has nothing to do with the bill, brother.
Do you
They
need
got an
help?
outage
Man,
in
let me
here.
know.
I'm in
Let me
Tennessee.
know. Do you
I
need
tell you
help?
what.
I'm gonna raise some money for you, brother.
Yeah, I need some help. Let's raise some money.
There you go, man.
Yeah. Now, seriously, though, I can use some money. But I don't need it for my Ethernet. Seriously, you got a block out. I got two internet props. I got MA Carroll, MA Whichcomb, and I got Point Blank. When one go out, I can at least use Wi-Fi on the other one. So the main one is out. They saying there's the disconnect from Tennessee to Virginia. I don't know what the problem is. It's been going on since yesterday. I tried to get on yesterday and I couldn't do your spam. You kept kicking me out.
Epic Study's been talking a lot of trash in the chat, but when it came down to hitting the link, he's a no-show. And see, that's what a lot of people do. They don't hit the link. They don't show up. They just talk that talk. And he was here from the beginning. He was here from the beginning saying, yo, I want to come on. And when this is all done, I want to come on. But now I'm going to let you go ahead and close us out. My brother, I ain't going to keep you too long. You have done a great show. You did good. You know, for your second time up. This is not your first time here.
Islam.
You know, Islam, brother. Close us out.
Islam. I just wanted to end it by saying that I have Moorish law services. I do. I utilize my power and authority as a Abraham Lincoln type of lawyer. I also have a book for sale. It's on Amazon. Birthright War: A Soldier Without a Foe Never Knows His Strength. And it's just a piece of scholarship that I have to offer and to be an authority on the topic of the trust. Now, just imagine this: the other people that came on your platform and tried to dissuade or post salt on my demonstration, they don't have any books. I believe that brother calls himself a doctor. Why he's not an author, I can't imagine why. If you've been in the organization for that long, at least 7 years, because he came on the platform of Taharka Bay to try to challenge me then. And we're still going strong to this day. I mean, we've been members. We trace our membership back to 1994, all right? So our Kung Fu is excellent. And I just want to close in saying that I appreciate you bringing me back to the platform, brother. And hopefully, you know, we can do it and more. We'll have more shows. You know, I'm definitely open to come back, you know, because I understand that doing this show is probably going to put a bullseye on my head. Some people going to want to challenge, you know, what I'm saying, but the facts are the facts. You know, I think the brother, he has a saying, I think Brother Way Ill, I know Lord Abba, he says he's Mr. Just the Facts. But I thought it was interesting that he would come on the platform and not want to have any interaction, and especially in light of the fact that he was actually I used the footage that he came on, you know, to put in my book. You see what I'm saying? And he tried to come online and talk about it's not a trust and da 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 da. And, you know, a lot of people with that came with that same energy, but none of these ones are. I think Brother Rael did write a book or something, but there's not too many people that are into scholarship of writing or even know how to read what they're writing or be able to read to understand what this man bought. So they try to say it's pseudo because they don't understand what the law is, and their kung fu is not as good as they think that it may be. You know, I think that a lot of these brothers, they just get into the conscious circuit so that they can get to some sisters, you know, and, you know, be it like they have this larger than life persona, but they're not really about that life. They're really into it for their own selfish selves, you know. And so again, you know, I think that you have to look at life differently when you are a father, which I am, right? So so it's not about so much about me as much as it is about the young and the unborn, the babies that are coming, constantly coming, you know. So that means that there's still a chance for us, because that represents a divine mercy. When the sisters come here, they represent salvation, because through their wombs come the nation, you know. So when you uplift a brother, you uplift that's good, you know. But then when you uplift a sister, you uplift a nation, and it's all about that womb. What's in that womb, the fruit coming from that womb, and that's how we're going to solve the problems, because it's the sisters that's going to come and bring the souls here. That's going to bring us to back to a point of order, back to a point of respectability. And but again, you know, I ain't nothing but love here, brother sa.neter. I appreciate you allowing me the time on this platform. And if anybody is interested in utilizing my services, I'm Grand Sheik Loveville. Look me up. You know, we are reasonable, you know, in our price, you know, so everything is negotiable, and you can take it from there. Peace and love to the multitude. Peace and love to the family. All of us, you know, we are all the same. We are one. All right. I love y'all. Peace.
No more, gotta show what we stand for. Shot down in the streets by another police. They wanna start a race war. My people gotta stay strong. Come together and we face storms. We can hold our dollar. We collapse their dollar. Incite our power. Take back our land. Hold back our dollars. Black power we stand. All of you depend on the next move. 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 Peace to the fam. 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 Peace to the fam.